I'd like to call this regular board meeting on May the 20th, 2025 of the Medina City School Board to order. This is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public comment during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Chambers, would you please call roll?
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Parkhurst?
Here.
Ms. Pritchard?
Here.
Ms. Smoyer?
Here.
Mr. West?
Here.
Thank you.
First up is I would entertain a motion for the approval of the regular meeting minutes of April the 15th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any questions or comments from anybody? Hearing none, Mr. Chambers, when you're ready.
Ms. Smoyer?
Aye.
Mr. Nichols?
Aye.
Ms. Parkhurst?
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are there any additions, removals, modifications to the agenda? Anybody? Hearing
I'll
none.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Pritchard. I was getting there. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Parkhurst. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Chambers?
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Ms. Parkhurst?
Aye.
Mr. Nichols?
Aye.
Ms. Smoyer?
Aye.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up, we have information and discussion items. Number 1, Superintendent's Communications. Mr. Sable.
I'd like to start by welcoming all of our guests this evening. Our board meetings are going to get a bit lonely as we head into the summer and no longer have our building presentations. So welcome to Claggett's students and staff that are here tonight to present, as well as our retirees. We are overflow into our room next door where we're broadcasting live, thanks to Mr. Komar. So welcome to tonight's meeting. I'd like to bring up Principal Condit. Tonight we're going to be hearing about some of the innovative activities and lessons and instruction that's occurring over at Claggett.
Good evening, Board. I'm very excited to be here and share with you some of the things that we have going on at Claggett Middle School. I have several of our Claggett students here and staff members to share a couple things that have been going on at our building. The first that I want to talk about and invite up is Miss Susu and Mrs. Cott and their students from Team Mercury. Last week, the team came out with a career day where they invited local businesses and local entrepreneurs into the building to present to our students, and then we held an expo in the afternoon where all students on the Mercury team were able to interact with these merchants and find out to kind of do a little career exploring to prep them for the Career Center field trip that 8th grade does the following year. So I wanted to give them an opportunity to come up and share their experience and kind of what went into the planning to get this day possible, because they are trying to move forward with and putting back in place the career shadowing that Claggett used to do many, many years ago. So I'm going to have Mrs. Cott and Ms. Susu come up with our 7th grade students from Team Mercury.
Hi, I'm Sam Linden, and on May 15th, my team, Mercury, 7th grade Claggett, had a career day. So, in the morning, we had 7 rotations you could go to, and you could choose your top 3 to go to. And it was different groups each time, like different groups of kids. Each one was 30 minutes, and yeah. My favorite was photography, and because everything was just so interactive, and I think the time inside each group was really good because it wasn't too long that got boring, but it was also like a blast. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
So my name is Bree, and I will be telling you what we did in the afternoon. So in the afternoon, our whole team rotated through three stations. In one station, we worked on our career day packets, which was like this stuff. And then in the second station we did was our visual cover letters. And then the third station we did was our career day fair. So for the visual cover letters, we did something that reminded us of ourselves and what we like to do and what we love to do. And everybody loved how their cover letter turned out, and it's a good thing. Like, it's a good idea that we made. And this is my visual cover letter. I picked this because it's like very calm, and it's like, and everybody loves to be calm. And I love the color pink, so I picked some pink stuff to glue on there. And then I picked this because I love like this car and stuff. And then I picked this because I love basketball, and it reminded me of basketball. And yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Hunter, and I'm going to be talking. Hi, my name is Hunter, and I'm going to be talking about the career fair. In the morning, we took a survey that helped match us with the careers before the career fair. The gym was organized by these groups that made it easy to find speakers who matched our interest. One of my favorites was the Navy submarine guy. He was awesome, and the only reason I liked him was because he can hold a conversation about his job and went into depth with it. We were builders, thinkers, organizers, helpers, creators, and persuaders. The career fair was such a fun and helpful experience. I found out about careers that I never knew existed. Thank you.
Like I said, photography was my favorite, and these are some pictures that we got to take with their very fancy camera.
Hello, my name is Leo. I'm excited to share with you what we learned from Career Day. We gathered some feedback from our Mercury students. We enjoyed the day. We really liked how interactive the morning was. I really liked the quote where I learned more about qualities I have and jobs that I will fit into because this really shows that they took what the professional said and thought about what they wanted to do. We also got some feedback from our presenters. They shared how respectful we were and asked great questions. I really liked if students keep getting the opportunity like this, workforce of tomorrow is going to be stronger than ever. I like this because there's not a lot of opportunities like this, and it shows us how many opportunities we have and looks deeper into our future. And thank you.
So we got on the newspaper, and it was so awesome. We got on the newspaper, and it was so awesome because it was like a good story that we did, and everybody loved how like their career day turned out, and everybody found like things that they like at the career day, and yeah.
And I do think there is another article coming out in Medina Weekly this Thursday, except it hasn't been published since we had it last time. So hopefully this Thursday you'll see another one about it.
Oh, that's me. So hi, I'm Selena Susu. This is my third year in Medina. Coming to Medina honestly was amazing because my first middle school that I worked at was more of a junior high, so no teaming. I think I'm blessed to be on Team Mercury. Erica Cott, thank you. So we kind of wanted to align everything to Portrait of a Bee. We wanted it to not just be a fun experience for the kids, but it aligned to district. So I really feel like we did that. Students were not just asking questions and digging deeper. They were looking into things that they were asking questions we didn't even think they were going to ask at that point. And I'm so proud of them in so many different ways. There was a couple other things you were going to add. Come back. Yeah. No, I got nervous. I'm sorry. You should see me in my classroom, though. Give me some numbers, math. I got it. Students were so intentional about what they were doing. They weren't super prepped on everything. They kind of went in like solo with the speakers, seeing them do everything. It was just incredible. I cannot wait for this to happen again next year.
And I'm Erica Cott. I have been in Medina City Schools since 2000, so a very long time. And as Mr. Condit said at the beginning, formerly we did have a career shadowing program where students went out into the community and actually shadowed somebody in a career of their interest for an entire day, which has always been a passion of mine that I'd really like to see us get back to. But we decided to kind of baby step our way back into this with the day that we planned this year. And then basically what I want to talk about now is kind of our future plans. So one, we would like to expand the career options. We had almost, I think, around 40 different careers at our building throughout this experience, and it was awesome. We really tried to hit military, the trades, a traditional four-year college path, and even beyond. We'd like to continue to expand those options for kids in the future. Again, one of our big goals is to get students back out into the community. We find it to be so important to remind these students that they have to be able to communicate face-to-face to other people, because we know we have a lot of keyboard warriors these days, and we don't have to practice talking in person. So we think that's really important. And pie in the sky down the road, I'd love to see us create a more formal opportunity for students to share their experiences with parents. So maybe we do get out into the workplace, and then maybe we have something in the evening at Claggett. Mr. Condit's just hearing about this for the first time, I think, but where parents can come in and the kids can kind of present about what their experiences were. So we really look forward to it. And as Ms. Susu said, it was really a team effort, and we are so proud of all the students and the feedback we got from the presenters on how well they did. And we're particularly proud of these 4 students for stepping up and being brave tonight, because we couldn't do it without them. So thank everybody so much.
We're proud to be Team Mercury. Woo-hoo!
Thank you. So before I call, I did bring another group from Claggett to brag about, but I want to just speak of the Career Expo that occurred and the way our 7th grade students, Mercury students, conducted themselves. I was extremely proud of our students. You know, sometimes people get nervous when they have middle school students around, but our students rose to the occasion. They spoke very professionally to the presenters that were there, to the entrepreneurs, and did a fantastic job representing this district and representing Portrait of a Bee. So I just want to congratulate the Mercury team on an amazing job and an outstanding program that our students were exposed to last week. All right, the second one that I'm calling up, if you
Mr.
came to
Condit?
yes.
Could I just comment?
Yeah.
Maybe if you want me, I can wait till the end if you want.
It's up
but
to you.
Your Portrait of a Mercury or whatever you called it, I caught on there. I think it was important that you saw, or I saw, a student said, I didn't know how much math careers took. And I think the tie-in is that they realize these things that they're doing now, they will need later, and that's kind of show them.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just something that struck me, so I just wanted to say that's a good thing.
Yes, thank you. And it's a great point to bring out, that students start to realize down the road all these skills that they are getting now will be utilized at one point or another as they move on from the walls of these buildings. So, all right, the next group that I'm going to have come up, and if you came to the expo, you may have had a little taste of it, is the American Chestnut Club of Claggett. Mr. McElwain is not here, so we will not be here speaking to you for an hour on chestnuts. So the presentation from this will be much shorter, but I do want to call up Ms. Hannah and Mr. Caruso and Mrs. Montgomery, who are here with some students of the American Chestnut Club to talk about what is going on with the American Chestnut and the club at Claggett.
Well, as Mr. Condit said, I am definitely not Mr. McElwain. I cannot do this speech justice. As he was texting me on the way here, he said it was like a babysitter leaving a newborn baby for the first time with all of the directions. So I'm going to do my best. Before I tell you a little bit about the club, I first want to tell you the kind of teacher that Mr. McElwain is. He could not be here tonight because he's with his family. His daughters are experiencing some monumental moments in their lives, so he is with them. When I first saw Mr. McElwain 2 years ago, we were coming back from summer break, and no other teachers were in the building. I was walking by his room, and he was standing on a really tall stool, hanging something up on the wall. And I expected to just say, "How was your summer? Welcome back." And instead, he whisked himself around and said, "I have to tell you about the American chestnut." And I'm like, okay. So I got a very dramatic story about what the American chestnut was and what his grand visions were for what he wanted to do with this. So it was his vision for this to become a conglomerate that spanned across the entire district. He wanted to involve building administrators, central office staff, teachers, students, and that is exactly what he has done. So he has built partnerships at a national, state, county, local, and just today at the district level, where he gifted a American chestnut tree to AI Root Middle School, to Mr. Kevin Bucks, to extend that chestnut branch over there to the other middle school across the way. And he was very excited to receive that. He helped get this into the classrooms of 8th grade students with an amazing culminating event of planting American chestnut trees at Memorial Park. He worked with integrating history and science, and he's now looking to the future of possibly expanding this fully interdisciplinary, involving math and language arts as well. So I am going to turn this over for a moment to Mr. John Caruso. He is part of the Ohio chapter of the American Chestnut Foundation.
Good evening. I'm John Caruso. I am a board member of the Ohio TACF. I have contacts with National, and we interact with them on a very regular basis. And many of the trees that Mr. McElwain and the club have planted come from National, donated through the Ohio chapter as well. And then I think I'm going to introduce Ms. Hannah, and I can answer questions and talk for a little bit at the end.
Hi there. I'm Miss Hannah. I currently teach math at Claggett Middle School, and I'm on the Nebula team with Adam McElwain. And I, too, have spent a lot of time working with him and getting this off the ground running. We've got a lot of chestnut trees in our math classroom right now, and the kids all know what they are. And I'm excited to give them a chance in a couple minutes to tell you guys about it.
So this is kind of the timeline of our community engagement and partnerships. So back in 2023, the fall of 2023, we had that initial video conference with the national chapter and had conversations of how do we get this to continue to grow and evolve. We then have gone through the Ohio chapter, and Mr. Caruso has been pivotal in helping develop that. Then in the spring, the Geometry and Science Plus students, they got to do a project where they got to pick what they wanted to research. If they wanted to research something with history, something with science, and what they wanted to learn about with this chestnut and the blight that kind of took over. Then in spring, like I had mentioned earlier, we got to go and plant those. And of course, they did not stop there, continued getting funding for this club now with getting grants, and just now have partnered with Boyert's, and they are they plan to hold a chestnut talk, and just continuing to evolve this as much as possible. So this is really something that we want you to hear from the kids, because I think that they can explain it much better than all of us.
Before we do hand the mic over to the kids, though, we do definitely have a lot of ties that are inspiring deeper learning through this club at Claggett. And the first one is with the goal of engaging the community and environmental education. We are promoting those 21st century competencies like collaboration, communication, literacy as far as civic duties and ecological knowledge, problem solving. I feel like the list goes on, and it's really cool to see the kids explore this and enjoy doing it. We are also definitely fulfilling a lot of the skill requirements that were projected for this year in the future of jobs reports, such as leadership, resilience, social influence. It is crazy how much interest other students are showing in the American chestnut tree. Prior to this year, they probably weren't even aware that it existed. So it's very cool to see that. The second connection would be in regard to tree development and future ready skills. It is full of STEM innovation as we work to restore the American chestnut tree. The kids are learning about crossbreeding. You will hear in a couple minutes about the B3F3 trees and solutions, brainstorming involving genetic modification to save this species. We are also teaching problem solving, STEM fluency, and integrating technology in everything that we are doing. And we are also instilling skills of analytical thinking, systems innovation, and monitoring the use of technology. And finally, in regard to historical and ecological literacy, our goal, learning from the past for a sustainable future. We are exploring indigenous uses and the cultural history of chestnuts while promoting intelligence as far as culture goes, historical awareness, and ecological ethics. And I will now turn it over to our students.
To start things off, I'm going to be explaining why it is so important for us to restore the American chestnut tree. So, first things first, this tree has gotten a bad disease called blight, and it's spreading really rapidly. And so to stop this, we need to act fast. But we need to be able to do this really quickly because it's functionally extinct, which means it could go fully extinct at any time. And without this tree, we won't be able to look at it because it's so beautiful. And we won't be able to build with it because it has really great wood to build such strong structures. So next, I'm gonna be explaining what this tree produces. So this tree produces a type of nut, and it's very nutritional and high in protein and dense calories. And it also includes vitamin C. And a lot of animals and creatures really like to have this type of nut for a snack. And even humans can have it. And a fun thing that we did during one of our lessons was we got to actually eat one of the raw chestnuts. And the flavor that some of us sort of explained was that it kind of tasted like a Thanksgiving dinner or mashed potatoes or something. It was really weird, but it was really cool to experience that. But also these nuts can be cooked, and when they are cooked, they're a lot sweeter and have a more crunchy texture. And one last quick fact is that these trees can produce around 100 pounds of nuts per year. Thank you. I'm Enzo from the 6th grade Space Pirates team at Claggett, and today I wanted to talk about the ways the American Chestnut Foundation is planning on restoring the tree. So they have 3 possible solutions. The first solution is called the B3F3. This tree is bred with other trees, specifically the Chinese chestnut. And the other solution is called the D54 and the D58. And this tree is bred or genetically modified with the Chinese chestnut as well. The third solution is called the Darwin. And the Darwin is actually bred or genetically modified with wheat genes. And the difference between the D54, sorry, my apologies, and the D58 is that the D54 and 58 actually work to fight the blight constantly, and the Darwin only works to fight the blight when it is harming the tree. And I actually have a Chinese chestnut right here and an American chestnut, and they're quite similar. I don't know if you can tell. And our gift to the from the American Chestnut Club, we actually have 2 native trees that I would like to give to you guys. I think that wraps up about what the current solutions are to help the tree, and I'm going to pass it to our next person. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maggie Williams. I'm in the 8th grade Nebula team. I'm gonna be talking about like the buds and insects. These buds and insects help with the trees a lot, but they also can harm the trees. The small buds that you see from the nuts are called the larvae. They emerge from the soil and they enter the dough stage in mid-late August. The chestnut blight might not only take the chestnut tree, but also these buds that came with it that helped our environment. Recently, more buds have been discovered, including the chestnut mining bee, which has also helped our environment. The leaves of the American chestnut tree often look sharp, as if they could hurt you, but they only have a scratchy texture. On the top of the leaves, it looks like they have a matte surface, while the bottom is paler than the top. And it also has like soft hairs, as you could say. The edges of these also look kind of toothed, but they do not hurt you if you do touch them. These leaves are fairly large, ranging from 5 to 9 inches. These trees were used in lots of different uses with construction. They were used to build houses and lots of uses throughout cultures and just human environment itself. Mr. McElwain actually has a favorite use of this, which is with the gun stocks.
Hello, I am Jackson Mordick from the 8th grade Nebula team, and in the 1800s to late 1800s, the Americans used these for a variety of reasons. because it was a wood that would not rot. Until the late 1800s, a blight from a foreign source came in, and due to the trees not being able to be adjusted to this, they would be killed off at a rapid pace, dying off around the 1950s.
My name is Gavin Heyer. I did the ecological role for the American chestnut tree. It played a vital ecological role as a dominant species in the eastern North American forests before being killed by the chestnut blight. It served as a crucial food source for lots of wildlife sources and species, and it leaves contributed soil health. The tree also is valuable timber and other resources for human use.
My name is Paul Doyle. I'm in 8th grade and I'm on Team Nebula. So I did the different kinds of chestnut trees. There's plenty, but I wanted to do these three because I found them interesting. So the normal and the American chestnut tree, the Castanea dentata, is mainly used for furniture and flooring and was founded in the year 1983. The Allegheny chinkplin, C. pumila, is usually used for fence posts and fuel. There is evidence of the Allegheny chinkpin in 2000 BC. The Ozark chinkpin was used for furniture and fence posts and was founded in the year 2007.
So I'll just have Jordan kind of click through the pictures. You can see of the different things that Chestnut Club's been working on. But this is just one of the many opportunities that our students at Claggett have to do. And I think it's a unique club. It's the first one in the state that is at the middle school level to give the kids the opportunity to learn about the American chestnut and a way to give back to the community because they are planting these trees in cooperation with the city and the school district. So that concludes our presentation for Claggett. Thank you.
I want to thank our Claggett presenters this evening. Obviously, our core curriculum is so important when we talk about reading, writing, math, science, but it's the application that really creates the learning. So to see tonight the application of learning occurring at Claggett was really impressive. And it's really reflective of the hard work of our teachers and our administrators and our curriculum department with the deeper learning projects. And I think we get questions, what exactly is deeper learning? Well, you just saw it tonight. So thank you. At this time, I would like to recognize our district retirees. We started this tradition just a year or two ago with a small reception prior to the board meeting and then an opportunity to recognize all of our retirees publicly at the board meeting. Today, the way we're going to go about that is through the individuals who know our retirees the best, and that's our building administration. I'd like to start by inviting Principal Grice up to the podium.
All right, good evening. I have some pretty special retirees to talk about tonight, and I know two of them are here, and I'm going to invite them up. One being Nikki Ferrugia. I see her entering the door right here, and right behind her is Mr. Ken Bazidlo. I'm going to bring them up together because they're buddies, so it makes it even more special. So I have had the privilege of knowing both of these individuals for a very long time. Ken, we were elementary colleagues across town with one another. I won't say how many years back, but it was a long time. And then Nikki, I had the privilege of working side by side with about 20 years ago as we taught 6th grade math together. So I'm going to stick to a script because these are two pretty hard individuals to see leave Root and to leave our district because they're pretty special. So I'm going to start first with Mr. Bazidlo. So Ken Bazidlo, 8th grade history teacher at Root Middle School, is completing his 34th year as an educator in service to the Medina City Schools. Ken started his career in Medina in 1991 at Ella Canavan, and we realize that's where most of us all started our careers, at Ella Canavan. For 2 years, then he moved across town and worked at Sidney Fenn for 13 years, where he was a beloved elementary teacher. Mr. Bizilo then followed his passion for teaching history to middle schoolers, where he has been at AI Root, inspiring 8th graders to love history for the past 17 years. Anyone who knows Ken would define him as having solid pillars of character, kindness, integrity, and professionalism. When asking his colleagues for words to describe Ken, they said, wonderfully steady and kind, an example to all, an amazing storyteller, the model of an exceptional educator. A quote recently from one of our students was sweet. They said, Mr. Bazidlo only has 15 days left, but he's teaching like he has 15 years. Ken's kindness, his grace, and his unwavering positivity has touched the hearts of students and staff alike. He has a smile that can brighten every room, and his legacy of class and care will always be remembered in our district and at Root. So best wishes to Ken on your special retirement, as you and your awesome wife, who is here as well. Chris is also a retired educator. There she is right there. Can enjoy the extra time of togetherness and family and the joys of grandparenting. So you will definitely be missed, Mr. Bazillo. And our next special person is Mrs. Nikki Ferrugia. Nikki is currently the 7th grade medical detectives teacher at Root, and she's completing her 33rd year as an educator in and service all to Medina City Schools. Nikki, too, started her career at Ella Canavan in 1992, and 3 years later became one of the founding staff members for the opening of AI Root Middle School. Nikki has remained at Root for the past 30 years and is one of only 2 remaining teachers of the opening staff at Root. Nikki's gifts and strengths are endless, and her kind, caring, and empathetic soul serves as a model to all who know and work with her. Nikki is constantly evolving in her craft, as she once inspired many 6th and 7th grade math students, and lately is running medical clinics with her students and solving epidemic outbreaks. Her creativity and her excitement to try new ideas is contagious, and even in her final year, she regularly comes down to me and giggles and says, Cindy, I'm having so much fun. Nikki's positive energy, her constant smiles, her helpful spirit, her fun approach to everything that she does has made a lasting impact on all of us. It's truly an honor to call her my colleague and my dear friend. Nikki, you will be greatly missed, but know that your legacy of joy and innovation will always remain. So best wishes to you as you too enjoy the gift of extra time and creating special memories with your beautiful family, who I know some are in the back here as well. So Nikki, you too will be missed.
Thank you. And next we have from Canavan, Principal Newton and Principal McGinty.
I subbed in kindergarten today, and I was looking all over for my glasses, and this kindergartner put them on, and she was like, I can't see anything. It was so funny. So I have them here today. It was really funny. Kim Diesman has worn many hats while serving in a variety of roles for Medina City Schools over the last 30 years. She began her time in Medina in food service in 1995, where she was first a server at Claggett and then became a cook at the high school. In 2000, Kim became a support paraprofessional at Claggett, where she worked for a year, followed by 19 years as a para at the high school. After her roles as a paraprofessional and in food service, Kim made the move to be a full-time custodian in 2021 at Ella Canavan. She worked at Ella Canavan since then, supporting the building each evening. Although many of her jobs go unseen, her work at the building sets teachers and students alike up for success each day. Working in 3 different jobs at 3 different buildings over 3 decades, Kim has definitely left her mark on Medina City Schools. Kim's final hat might be just that of a motorcycle helmet. Kim and her husband are avid motorcyclists and spend many sunny afternoons on the open road. We are thankful for all of her years of commitment to our students and facilities and want her to enjoy this thrilling ride into retirement. Congratulations, Kim.
Realize how many people started at Canavan, but I have 2 awesome people who are starting and ending at Canavan. So I would like to first recognize Christy Corkin. One of the best things about Medina is being able to see students return as educators and then dedicate their careers to supporting the same community that raised them. So Christy Corkin is a prime example of this. She is a Medina City School alumnus and is now getting to retire as a Medina City Schools teacher. Christy was hired in 1990. She has served the district for 35 years as both an intervention specialist and a gen ed teacher. 34 of those years have been at Ella Canavan. As a general education teacher, Christy was extremely innovative and incorporated hands-on learning into her looped 4th, 5th grade classroom. She was involved in deeper learning long before it was a philosophy of the district. Now, Christy is devoted to providing the most intense reading interventions for students in 1st through 5th grade. Her work as a certified academic language practitioner is crucial in our building and has set up so many students for success, many even to hopefully return as teachers one day like herself. Christy has been a flexible, understanding, compassionate, and supportive partner to all of her colleagues. The joke is often, which schedule version are we on? I think this year we made it up to Corkin Schedule 9.0. Her flexibility in the day-to-day unknowns of elementary school, in addition to the big picture of taking on new students mid-year, is appreciated beyond belief. Not to mention, in her last year of teaching, we asked her to move into basically a copy room. So really, we just appreciate all of that flexibility. As an MCTA building rep, she has been unbelievably helpful and patient with me as a new principal, and that is something that I will always be thankful for. Christy will be greatly missed at Canavan, but we are so excited for this next chapter for her in her brand new home with all of her duck friends in the backyard. So congratulations, Christy. All right, next up, I would like to celebrate Miss Vicki Hanna. So originally, Vicki was not one of the people that I was planning on talking about tonight, but I guess thanks to STRS, we are here and we are going to celebrate this well-deserved retirement. So Vicki began her career actually student teaching in Medina at Medina High School and then Garfield Elementary. After college graduation, she was hired as a long-term sub at Medina High School, and only 1 month into the school year, Vicki got a call from Principal Carol Starrick for a full-time contracted position as an intervention specialist at Ella Canavan. And Vicki arrived at Canavan and has been an integral part of the Canavan family ever since. Since we didn't have a party planner position at Canavan, Vicki tackled the role of Sunshine Committee Chair for us, and truly there is not a better person to serve in this role. Vicki applies the same warmth, sincerity, and kindness she has for all of her students to the interactions and support of our Canavan staff. She is always sending around a card to be signed or stuffing staff mailboxes with goodies to make the day just a little bit brighter for everybody at Canavan. Vicki is the type of teacher that students, teachers, and families are all thankful to have on our team. She does the work, loves her students, even the little kindergartners, and supports her colleagues, never looking for recognition. We thank Vicki for her dedication and hours spent helping some of our most at-risk students. We wish Vicki all the best in retirement, so now you can enjoy some sunshine.
And next, I would like to invite Principal Doty up from Northrop.
Good evening. You're up here with me, girl.
Okay,
Okay.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
A little. Tonight, I have the honor of recognizing Kathy Fraser, media paraprofessional at Northrop Elementary. We are celebrating 30 years of Kathy being a full-time paraprofessional in the district. She moved here from Kentucky, where she had also worked in schools and in daycares, and she first joined Medina City Schools as a parent of 3 then graduates and a sub for 2 years, and very quickly became part of the Medina City Schools family. Kathy was first hired at Garfield Elementary and worked there for 14 years, if I'm doing my math right. Okay. And then in 2009, when Northrop opened, so 16 years ago, she joined the Northrop family. She quickly made the Northrop Media Center a central hub in the building, a place where you can go get a hot cup of coffee every morning, a friendly conversation, and if you're one of the lucky ones, a delicious homemade New York-style cheesecake on your birthday. Those are legendary. One of the things that makes Kathy so special is the way that she cares for the kids who need it most. You can call them the underdogs, the students in need, the ones who need just a little extra, whatever you want to call it. Kathy has this innate way of knowing what they need, knowing who they are, and helping them with it. And it's quietly, and it's behind the scenes, without fanfare, without recognition. It might be buying them school supplies to start off the year, or some new clothes, helping them at the holidays, quietly paying off some unpaid lunch fees. If you didn't know it, you wouldn't know it. But those of us who do are so grateful for it, because the reason she does it is for love of kids. When we think about retirement, it's a mixed bag of emotions, right? Sure. Yeah. Excitement, it's really the thing that we work so hard for and look forward to. Maybe a little bit of sadness to not see your work family, the big people and the small people, every single day. A little bit of the unknown, because we have a set schedule that we live by, bells and all, for 30 years. But there's joy in being able to spend more time with family. And as a good old Irish Catholic, Kathy has no shortage of a wonderful family, some of whom are here with her this evening. So we are really excited for you on this next adventure. Can't thank you enough for all your service to Medina City Schools. You'll always be a part of our family and a part of the Northrop family. Congratulations to Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
And from Medina High School, Principal Tadona.
You choose. There we go. All right, I have here Michelle Werner. Michelle is a Medina graduate who returned to MHS in 1997 to work as a server and a cook in our cafeteria. In 2002, she moved from the cafeteria to become a paraprofessional, which is where she has served for the last 23 years. Michelle has made a lasting impact on our staff and students. She has provided advice for those in search of answers and has joined the various fun activities throughout the school. For example, most recently, she twinned with a student on Twin Day and made herself and the student matching shirts and proceeded to make him pose for pictures with her. And if there was an award for whoever won that Spirit Day, it definitely would have been Michelle and this student.
And that's what she does, is she makes students' days brighter and a lot more fun in a building that can be chaotic and overwhelming for some. One of the teachers who works with Michelle shared that she routinely goes out of her way to make an extra effort for her students to feel comfortable, heard, respected, and loved. Every birthday, the students came to expect a birthday bag from Michelle, where she filled it with their favorite candies and snacks, along with a handmade sign that the kids would always hang in their cubbies. Students have shared that Michelle is kind, generous, caring, and goes above and beyond. Michelle is going to leave a giant hole in Medina High School, but we are so excited for your next chapter and appreciate all that you have done for Medina High School and this district as a whole, and we'll certainly miss you, but are looking forward to all the adventures that I know that you will have and the trouble that you inevitably will get into. So thank you so much for everything that you have done. And we have this for you, because I wasn't able to get it to you beforehand. Thank you so much for everything. Kevin could not speak more highly of you, so thank you so much.
And next up, we have Fenn, Principal Perry.
First of all, we do not beat up our employees. We will explain this in a little bit, which just goes to the nature of Terry Sabo. So we are here to celebrate Terry Sabo, who completing her 35th year, all at Fenn. So you had Mr. Knight, Mr. Komar, and now myself. So you've gone through some principals here. We're so glad you're here. So I have to tell you, she's one of the most easiest going staff members I have ever been around. She's been working as a paraprofessional, working with students the last few years, but also as our media paraprofessional. And I have to mention another role that you have, which is in the morning, which caused this. She's one of our crossing guards in the morning, which I never realized how important that role was until I had to fill in one day. And I nearly caused accidents, which just shows that you take that role very seriously, and I could not fill your shoes. And the reason this happened is she was our crossing guard the other morning and had a little spill. And she did not want to leave, but we did make her leave, and I'm glad she did. And I'm glad you're here tonight. What's that? In an ambulance, no less. That is correct. But it made me, again, seeing that role just made me see how important just that small role we think of a crossing guard. It keeps our kids and staff safe every morning. So, and she takes it seriously. So whether Terry is in our library helping our students build a love for reading or working with kids to teach them to type, because that's very important. She even created the golden keyboard, right? You still have that golden keyboard. You do. To help teach kids to type without looking, because that's very important. She's always looking for a way to help our students. You have a true passion for what you do, and you are going to 100% be missed at Fenn. You have always been and will always be part of the Fenn family. And I know that we talk a lot about your grandchildren because they're in Brunswick and I live in Brunswick. And we always talk about the times you get to go to the classroom or get to pick up or get to babysit. And you're going to have a lot of time to do that. So I hope you enjoy that and enjoy that as a grandparent. There's nothing greater. So I just want to thank you for all your years of service and a speedy recovery to your injuries. Terry Sabo.
And this year we have an administrator retiring, and I'd like to ask Mr. Shields up to the front.
You know, I have to tell a story here. Karen's already arguing with me that she's leaving to go to a concert over at Claggett, or over at Canavan, and she wanted to leave, and this pretty much sums up mine and Karen's working career, that arguing with each other. And come on up here. Come on up here. Stand next to you so everybody can see you. Plus, she told me I could do it at another party. I'm like, this is the most professional one I have, Karen, so we got to do this one here tonight. So the year was 1998, and the district began an administrative intern program. The first person hired was an external candidate who previously taught 9 years as a fourth grade teacher at Olmsted Falls, her hometown where she graduated from, and her name was Karen McGinty. Karen was assigned to learn and assist Principal Carol Starrick at Canavan Elementary School. When Karen arrived at Canavan in the 1998-99 school year, it was a year that saw 8 expectant teachers at Canavan. Karen, wanting to fit in and make connections with the staff, immediately became pregnant and had her son Patrick that school year. So, team player. 2 years later, Karen became principal at Canavan. At that time, there was no Waite, no Northrop, no Blake. Canavan had nearly 800 students, a modular classroom village outside the building. And one of her first challenges in her early years as a principal was a major fire at Canavan. So she was on her way to Hilton Head, what had happened. So we sent her to Hilton Head, and she came back and had to deal with the Canavan fire and the aftermath of it. And that was also the year that it impacted the start of the school year. But Karen was a trooper. Never seen anybody work more donations and taking care of the building and the students and making everything perfect after that fire that happened there. Karen spent the next 9 years as a Canavan principal focusing on her love of student instruction and staff development. In 2009, though, the district was opening 2 new elementary buildings. Everybody assumed Karen would want the challenge of opening a brand new building from scratch, but not Karen. Instead, Karen requested she wanted to take on the challenge of going to Garfield to be the principal. For the next 15 years, Karen was truly the perfect fit for Garfield students, family, and staff. I think personally, from what she shared with me and what I witnessed, it was probably the most meaningful and impactful professional and personal fit for Karen at Garfield Elementary. Karen was a champion, an advocate, and a tireless crusader for every aspect of a Garfield student's life. There is nothing like, and I invite everyone to have this experience, than going with Karen to visit the Garfield attendance area neighborhoods in Medina. Just bring Karen in tow, because it's nothing, you'll never see anything like it. It's like a visit from a rock star. More important than Taylor Swift showing up, Karen McGinty's on site. Or, as I've been watching the new Pope lately, and Karen is a great Catholic, so no disrespect, Karen. Yeah. It's truly like, I mean, people running to be blessed by her when the families from Garfield are so thankful and grateful for all you've done for them. And just, again, I've never seen anybody put more of her heart and soul into taking care of the students in this building. And I know it's sad every time Karen walks in this building. In Karen's initial application to Medina, she indicated that recognizing the talents of others is her strongest ability as an administrator. Right? Yes, you did say that. I might add that recognizing those talents in others, she also figures out a way to utilize those talents for her benefit. And everybody who has worked with Karen would agree to that. Yes, so. We all like to say that we're Karen's interns. Which brings us back full circle to Karen spending her final year back at Canavan, where it all began as an administrative intern, covering a maternity leave this year for Gretchen and completing a job share with Gretchen once Gretchen came back. Karen, I personally want to thank you for a 36-year career as an educator and sharing 27 of those years at Medina City Schools. And I truly are so appreciative of everything I've learned from you and what you've taught me about caring for the student in all aspects of their lives. And I know we all thank you and are going to miss you. She also has the very best stories about her family that I'm going to miss that every day, not hearing updates on Karen's family members, but we really thank you for all you've done for Medina City Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we might have tagged a new term. Instead of a Swiftie, will be a Ginty. I really do appreciate Karen's passion. When I came to the district 9 years ago, she may have been the first building principal that I met with, and it was all about advocating for Garfield, the staff at Garfield, and the kids here, out of the box thinking of how to improve instruction within Garfield here. But what I'm really wondering is who's going to take over for Karen and calling me whenever I make a decision that's not popular with all the principals, because she's always been the designated one to reach out to me. Congratulations to all of our retirees. It's really impressive the service that our staff graduates have provided to our students and our community. And I always look forward every year to hearing these presentations and the incredible impact that all of our educators have on not just our students, but each other, parents, and in the community every day. When I was a building principal, I always said every year, boy, these freshmen get younger and younger. And now I'm looking at it is our 150th. And as Ms. Busby shared at our last meeting, we have several things that we're going to be doing to honor this benchmark in our history. In addition to that, as I think it's raining or drizzling outside, our commencement ceremony is now outside at our stadium. We do have a plan in place in the event of bad weather. Our goal is to proceed with the ceremonies if possible. However, if the weather does not cooperate, our first plan of action is to move to a later time on Saturday. If it looks like a washout, then our second plan is to move to Sunday. I am happy to share, though, that at least as of this evening's forecast, we look like we are in pretty good shape. And it looks like we're going to have cooler temperatures, which is great as well, as everybody's sitting in the stands and on the field. School funding updates. I've spent a lot of time, maybe too much time, having to talk about school funding and finances from the district as the state legislators move through the biennial state funding plan. This evening, I just wanted to share a few advocacy efforts that we have been making as a school district or in collaboration with other surrounding school districts. We are working with, as a county, in order to make sure that our legislators are aware of how proposed budget plans will impact our individual students. I'd like to publicly thank Kids First and Vicki Drewley for her work in coordinating a community town hall that we just held last week, where we were able to share information out to our community. We had, I think, just over 100 community members and staff that attended that event. In addition to that, we have been working as county superintendents to meet with our local legislators and have conversations with them on the school funding to ensure that the elected officials that are there to represent their communities have the accurate and correct information in order to advocate for our students. Just yesterday, had the opportunity to go to the high school and meet with approximately 25 or 30 students who took their own time after school to come and learn about the proposals currently coming out of Columbus. Most of those students were members of our student council as well as our National Honor Society. And they made the decision to do a writing campaign and have written or are in the process of writing personal letters to our legislators as well as our governor in order to advocate for the programming that they currently have here at Medina City Schools and how that programming is important to them as our legislators consider funding for public schools here in Ohio. And the last thing that I want to share is that the Senate committees are meeting to discuss the budget. The Education Committee just met last week, and I put together some testimony and submitted that to the committee, advocating for Medina City schools specifically, as well as schools across Ohio, as well as reiterating some of the important points that were presented through testimony through our supporting organizations, such as the Alliance for High Quality Education. The board may talk about this a little more in their communications, but I also wanted to thank our Board of Education for putting the time, effort, and difficult conversations amongst each other to come to a consensus on a piece of testimony that our Board of Education submitted on behalf of our students, staff, and our school district last week as well. And last up in my section, we have committee updates, and I would like to start with Tina and curriculum.
Good evening, everybody. The Board Curriculum Committee met last Monday. One of the things that our Board Curriculum Committee helps us with is to review new curriculum that will be up for approval. And one of the things that we looked at last time was a secondary book adoption list. And you will see that on your board agenda tonight. So those are books that the high school ELA teachers and middle school ELA teachers will be using in their curriculum. So we went over that with the Board Curriculum Committee. Another thing that we went over was we talked about elementary report cards with the changes that we have had recently in elementary curriculum. We talked about updating our standards-based report card. In grades K through 5, we have standards-based report cards, and we want to make sure that parents understand the report cards and that communication is clear so that they understand how their kids are progressing. And we also talked about what it could look like to add some portrait of a bee competencies into our report cards so that parents could see how students were progressing with those competencies as well. So those are conversations that we started to have with the Board Curriculum Committee and that our teachers and staff will start to have next year. The last thing we talked about was a 4 to 8 science adoption that we are going to do next year. Unfortunately, our science fusion curriculum that we have right now is discontinued. So we will finish up with that next year, and then we will need a new curriculum for the following year. So thanks. Any questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Cassidy. I just wanted to confirm that for the book list, that will be available for public review for 30 days. Correct, I believe.
Yes, it'll be, yes, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. And for the public to review the list, and then it's up for basically a first review tonight, and then in June we'll.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mr. O'Cole from facilities. A lot going on with facilities prepping for the summer.
Yes, a lot going on this World Bee Day. Right, Dave? Yes. All right, we're going to start off with the first project this summer that starts May 27th is the track. And we received our first installment from the EPA on the track project, so we're super excited about that. It's a very conservative 12-week schedule to get this project done. First 3 weeks of tearing off the old material and then grinding the track surface off, laying down a new surface, and then it has to sit for 3 weeks in off gas, they call it, to get let the chemical reaction take place so that they'll get good adhesion on the final topping product. So that's going to be a 12-week product, or 12-week project, co-sponsored by the EPA. So again, super excited about that. The next couple projects here are the rec center projects we're doing in conjunction with the rec centers, and you have on your agenda tonight to do some money transfers in order to do these projects. And the first one is the rec center roof project. That we're doing is a 50-50 split with the city. The second project is the rec center is going to redo the tile in the community locker rooms, and this is more of a project the rec center's interested in doing for cosmetics and kind of freshening up the rec center. And that's 100% covered by the rec center, but the funds will pass through Medina City Schools. So we'll be paying the bills, they'll pay us immediately back. They have all the pieces in place to do that. So we're going to be transferring money this evening. Hopefully we'll be transferring money this evening to complete those projects. The last two are again, projects we're working with community on, which is things that we like to help out the community when we can, and we like when the community helps the school. So House Bill 47 requires that athletes, coaches, and organized sports have AEDs on their facilities they're practicing on. We allow a couple of different organizations to use some of our facilities. So Medina Youth Baseball, Medina Gridiron are going to be putting AEDs on a couple of our facilities. So we'll be supplying the electricity, and the maintenance department will be installing those. But those AEDs will be purchased and maintained by the organizations that are going to be using those facilities. That's one. And the other, Blake PTO project, they have a playground project that we're helping them clear the way for new pieces of equipment that they're putting in. So those are the up and coming. The other large roof project, I talked about it last board meeting, but Canavan will get a new roof on the last section of Canavan. So the entire Canavan roof will be less than 4 years old. So super excited about that. Any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, my question is, in this 12-week process for the track, how are we going to keep football, rugby, and lacrosse off of it?
We are going to do the best that we can to keep them off in the times that they have to be off. So the first 9 weeks of the project, there's really no reason they can't be on the turf if they're not in the way. Or I'm going to communicate with the coaches is the best way to answer this. When they're not doing dangerous work, there's no reason they can't use the field for that particular time. It's only when they lay down the final surface that we have to really keep people off of the field. And that's, I guess, what I'm considering.
The last 3 weeks?
Yes.
Okay. We're not going to build a bridge over?
We haven't considered that yet, but I'm sure Larry Laird's going to come up with something to get his football players on the turf.
Well, there's plenty of green grass, you know.
Yeah, we do. We have plenty of fields around the high school to utilize. So I'm hoping that the community can take a break from the field and appreciate that we'll have a brand new facility when we're done. We're doing a lot of, along with this project, we're replacing all the fencing around the track. We're having the poles painted. It will look like a very, very nice facility when we're done. So,
okay. Thank you.
Mr. O'Connell, just regarding the track too, that will be the entire area, like the area around the high jump and pole vault and.
Yeah, they call those the D zones.
Or long jump, I meant.
Yeah, the D zones will do, and we have put in the project. We're going to put long jump runs so you can go both directions, and then they'll also clean up the high jump. Right now, one of the pole vault pits was set in improperly, so it's not set in perfectly straight, which creates a real problem. And you know, pole vault's a pretty accurate sport on where you can plant your pole. So having the pole box not in their right has prevented them from being able to use it. So we'll have both of those then, so we'll be able to run either way. If the wind is a factor, we can do either direction.
Yeah, important to mention that the grant that Ryan brought up, I want to thank him for applying for that through the EPA. We're always trying to offset costs wherever we can. and that's a $300,000 grant going towards that track. So that's a big deal. The other piece is it's funded through sales tax funds, so those are not our general operational funds that are being utilized for that, and we will be locking up that stadium
Yes.
when those final layers go down, and I know there will be a waiting period, but that facility is going to have to be off limits during that time.
Yeah, one of the other considerations, I think, Gene, you brought it up to me once before, is about the fencing and getting in and out, and there will be a corral entrance to the stadium when this project's finished. So
Somebody asked me, how is the ambulance going to get in?
they'll still have the long gates. We're not changing those. We're adding so that we can close those during events.
Okay.
Or uncontrolled times.
Okay.
During events, they can be opened. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say that. During an event, it will be open because it's monitored. It's just the unmonitored times we want to have better control over access to the field.
And I know Mr. Shields is going to present during his financial presentation tonight. What did I say? Shields. Mr. Chambers. Dr. Kwolek on,
long day.
it has been a long day on policy.
We do have the first reading of several policies on the board agenda. Some of them are some slight changes or amendments to current policies. Nothing of significant note. So those are just for a first reading, meaning that the board's going to approve those just for them to be able to be viewed by the public. And then at the June meeting is when they would formally become policy. We are looking at, again, like I said, there's so many of them. There's over 30. I think I mentioned that last time. So there's no general statement that can be made about all of them, but they're just updating again to keep the board in line with the legal requirements for policies.
Thank you.
You're done? Mr. Chambers. Or
Good evening. Tonight I'd like to first talk about our April finances, and then we'll get into the 5-year forecast, if that please the board. With our April finances, again, we always start with what we started with in July of 2024, $33 million. Through April, we took in $90.14 million, and we spent $74.67 million. And then that leads to an ending balance as of April 30th of $45.9 million. This reflects a decrease of $4.4 million, and this is, again, due to our levy cycle. When we look at our revenues, our total revenues of $90 million, this is roughly 95% of what we anticipated back in November. And at this time, this amount reflects the levy that was passed in November that we started collecting in January. Real properties, $61 million. This is showing the 17.7% increase. This increase is directly due to the levy itself. And also, we have seen higher collections in real property and personal or public utility property for the first half of the calendar year, last half of the fiscal year. And then looking at our state foundation, this is 3% above last year at this time. This includes the casino revenue, which, as you see, is not a lot as compared to what we get from the state. On our expenditure side, we have spent $74 million. This is near 81% of our expected expenditure as of November forecast. So usually at this time, if you take 10/12 of the year, you would say that would be around 83%, so we're below our expenditures that we anticipated. Our personnel services are 1.6% above last year at this time. If you recall, last year, though, we were at 27 pays. If we look 2 years ago, we're only at 2.4% above 2 years. And the reason looking 2 years ago, that was our last 26 pays. Our benefits, though, if you look at these, we're down 3.8%. This is a direct result of the reductions that were made coming into this year. And our other expenses are down 8.5%. In looking at these, our purchase services, our supplies and capital are all down across the board there. So we are grateful that they're down, but we're perplexed as to why. So, our investments, this is a good thing. Our investments are up to $1.8 million. This is roughly $400,000 more than what we took in last year. And it's also the highest amount that we have taken in throughout my 11-year career here in the district. Finally, we get into our true days cash. If you look at the orange bar of April, we're at roughly 175 days. This will only go down through June because we have no more major cash coming in from the real property taxes. The only cash that we have coming in is from the state at this point. What you do also see here is that with the 175 days, we are below where we started the current year at. And if you think about this, in January of this year, we didn't collect anything from property taxes until February, hence the reason you see the large increase in February. So I want to point that out for what's going to be happening later when we're talking about the 5-year forecast. Any questions with the financials? Okay, let's head into the 5-year forecast. The current year, we have roughly 69% in local property taxes, 5% in all other revenue, and then 26% in state revenue. You can see the breakdown on the right, what we were projecting, and it is to be noted that with our other revenue, of that 3.14 million, 1.8 million is investment income. We have our expenditures for the year. We're a service industry that produces nothing. The only thing that we produce, I'm sorry, I can't say nothing. We're a service industry that produces workers for the future. How's that? The only thing we have to show for that is our graduates going out the door and our preschoolers coming into the door. We have nothing that we could sell, so our biggest expenditure is personnel. And as you see here, it basically is, you can't read it. I believe it says around 83%, or yeah, 80% is our personnel. So that's salaries and benefits. Our other projected expenditures are purchase services, and that goes to pay for tuition, that goes to pay for individuals coming into the buildings, that goes to pay for our children leaving the buildings, going to other buildings to be serviced. We also have our other expenditures of supplies, capital debt, operating, advances, transfers, and other uses. A major portion of those expenditures, I know the county doesn't like hearing it, but nearly $1 million goes out to the county on a yearly basis to collect property taxes that we receive. Here's our 5-year forecast, our projected revenues and expenditures. As you could see, 24, we were below, our revenues were below expenditures. With the advent of the November levy, we started collecting on the real property taxes, so our revenues exceed our expenditures. If you look at 26, our revenues exceed our expenditures more, and that's because we're actually collecting a full year at that point in 2026. 27, you could see our expenditures are catching up to our revenues. And you could see from 26 all the way to 29, there's not very big difference in our revenues coming in. However, with our expenditures are looking at anywhere between a 2 and a 3.5% increase based on historical data. So that is why you see on the left-hand side, you see the expenditures constantly increasing where our revenues stay the same. On the right-hand side, you see the cash balance, and again, we're looking at 25, 26, 27 being the largest years, and as expenditures exceed revenues, you see the cash balance declining. Now with our change in revenue, you're looking at the history of our revenues. You had a 2.14% the last 5 years. We're looking at a 3.96% the current 5 years. And the reason for this change, again, is the levy that passed in November of 2024. On the expenditure side, it looks like there's a big difference, but you're only talking 0.71% difference between our prior year's expenses and what we project over the next 5 years. Then finally, you have our days cash on hand. You could see the normal levy cycle here. You could see that with the increases in revenues and exceeding our expenditures, you see that our days of cash on hand are growing. I believe they're going up to 160 days that we may hit. And then you'll see the levy cycle and the expenditures starting to take over. So our cash on hand is dropping as we go through 2029. Then finally, I added this in. We had a town hall meeting last week, and we talked about House Bill 96. Now, if you look at the top line here, the blue line, it's our current forecast based upon the cash balances here. So these are ending cash balances. The forecast actually starts with the fiscal year 24. You could see it below the red line here. And with 25 and the passage of the levy, you could see it just above the red line there. I mean, a smidge above the red line. And so our current forecast is the levy cycle. You could see it's a normal cycle, increase and then a decrease. That's what a levy cycle is. Now the red line is where we ideally should be at when looking for a new levy. And the reason we put that there is, if you recall, in 2024, we were coming off the state basically putting us into fiscal precaution. We cut $4 million out of our expenditures to reach that point in 2024, and with the addition of the new levy, got to that point that's barely above that red line in 2025. Now again, we're going to be getting our full year's cash in 2026, so you see the line going up, the blue line going up. Now, with House Bill 96, and we're only projecting this, if the Senate holds what the House did and holds down to 30%, we will automatically be losing roughly $14 million out of our balance. And that's what takes you down to that orange line there in 2026. So you can see we are already below where we were when the state put us in fiscal precaution in 2024. And we're starting below that amount. Now, the orange line represents if the following year the County Budget Commission gives us our millage back. And you can see the difference between where we are right now and where we would be if House Bill 96 goes into effect with our return of the millage. Now, the gray line that you see there, that is if the County Budget Commission does not give any millage back to the school district at all. And this not only affects our school district, it affects all other school districts in the state the same way. So that's why House Bill 96 is not they want to call it a property tax reform. It's not reform. It basically puts all school districts in a state of where they will be either placed in fiscal caution, fiscal watch, or fiscal emergency within a year or 2 years' time. So finally, if you want to find our financials, we always place our financials. We update our financials on a monthly basis. It's on our website. You could click on the medinabees.org. In there, we have our 5-year forecast. We have our monthly financials. We have our tax budgets. I believe there's something else that we have in there, but I don't remember at this time. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. Board communications. How about let's start with Ms. Pritchard. Oh. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Ready, Mr. Chambers? Okay. Yeah. If you remember at the last meeting, Mr. West said that he attended the Tom Pascal relays, but what he failed to mention was that he received an award from the cross-country and track teams for volunteering all this time. So I just wanted to mention that he was a friend of the cross-country and track team. So congratulations on that. Mrs. Smoyer and her group with the after prom, I stopped up around 6:15. They did a great job decorating, and I'm sure the kids had a great time. And congratulations to Mrs. Parkhurst on receiving her master's a couple weekends ago. That's very good, and if I wouldn't be like an older person if I didn't say, do you have a job yet? But just, so your parents wouldn't feel bad about that. Mr. West and I attended the National Honor Society induction a couple weeks ago, and I attended the Career Center induction to the National Technical Honor Society, where we had 9 Medina High School students inducted. Mackenzie Lapps in the teaching professions was named the Medina County Career Center Student of the Year, and the May Medina Students of the Month were Lance Webb and Gabrielle Tricomi. Attended the Canavan Art Festival, which is, the kids are truly amazing, especially with the ceramics. They made some amazing things. If I did that, they would all look alike. Mrs. Daling certainly brings the best artist out in everyone. Attended the Bell Choir concert, and it was an exciting night because that was when the tornado sirens went off. And I think it was something that Mrs. McGinty got to check off her list of bucket list as we all headed down the hall. And Mr. Brinker and the parents moved all the tables down, and we had the concert down in the hallway. And that's when I found out what part of the roof of Canavan leaked, as my back was soaked from all the water leaking in. So just, it was an exciting night, and luckily no one got blown away. And then last Friday I attended the Canavan Choir concert, and those kids did a wide range of songs, and they were very well prepared. I was able to catch the boys volleyball game versus Strongsville, varsity girls lacrosse against Strongsville. And that game, the girls clinched their 9th straight lacrosse GCC championship. I stopped in and got to see the Claggett Orchestra. Baseball won the GCC championship. I like Blake's idea. They did the art festival, choir concert, and book fair, and that was great. We got everything done in one night, so that was just great. The choir did a very nice job. I got to see the Last Chance track meet at the high school, and then attended Showtime. And while all the Showtime productions are very good, this one was especially good. I just thought they just did an amazing job with some dances and the solos. I sat in on 2 capstone projects at Claggett, which were very good. One was on the Zen Den at Claggett, and thanks to the Halleck family for sponsoring it. And the second one, I'm sorry, this was not at Claggett, this was at the high school. And the second one was protecting the environment, starting with kindergarten students at Northrop. Then I went to Claggett and did 2 projects there, and then I did 4 at Root. And the one young lady at Root, Sydney Beckett, wrote a book about children's grief called Grief is an Ocean, and it is now, you can purchase it on Kindle. And that was a very touching capstone project, and this young lady's been through a lot, and it was very moving to listen to her, but she is truly an amazing young woman. Later that day, I went back to Root because I didn't have anything else to do, and looked at another art show, and so I'm going to ask the Gazette if I can have a job as an art critic. And it's just amazing when I have gone to all these art shows, how artistic our students are and how our teachers bring out the best in all of them. And just real quick, the 50th class reunion, for those of you that have been out of have graduated 50 years ago, is July 9th. Invitations are out, and if you haven't received yours, contact Owen Blakesley. And hopefully the Medina County Career Center graduation will be tomorrow at our football field, but things are not looking great. So anyways, and just thanking all the teachers for all their hard work this year and hoping they have a great summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pritchard. Mr. Nichols.
Yeah, I just have a couple quick things. First off, I did not get a chance to attend the Fenn Art Show because I had to help my my brother-in-law move furniture into his apartment, but Leah and Liam did, and they had a great time walking through, seeing everybody's art, so they told me all about it. The art teacher did an amazing job getting the school all set up for that, so I just wanted to make that point and give credit there. The next thing was I attended the town hall that we've kind of talked about a little bit here. I want to say, thank you for, I guess I'm considered the district, but, administration in the district for giving us a place and finding a place to put on that for Kids First. And Vicky, thank you, Vicky and Kids First, for kind of putting that together too. I know that we ended up having to move venues because it was a little bigger than we had initially thought. And, thank you to all the schools that came out and took some time, the superintendents and the treasurers that were able to take some time, come out, speak on what HB 96 means to their district if it goes through. It was pretty cool. I was scrolling through social media and I saw OSBA actually shared, I believe, an article that was written about it and a bunch of information. So it's cool that we're kind of hitting the front edge and kind of got a chance to lead the conversation there for a minute. Sarah, great article. I know that I gave you a little bit of flack, like make sure it's a good one. So thank you for that. And then in addition to the OSBA thing, we also had a couple other schools that I saw ended up sharing the same article. So it's cool to just see how far that reached just from having like a conversation and bringing in districts within the county and having, those tough conversations and very direct answers and trying to answer people's questions specific to their district. And, you know, I think I saw Mentor was one of them, and there was one or two others that I saw. It got shared in their communities. I also want to say thank you for showing up to Dolores Ford, who's actually on the state school board. She came out, she heard about it, wanted to be there, be present, hear everything that was said, and kind of support the districts in her district that she's a part of. Side note with that, I did want to mention that, you know, the state school board is kind of getting some of their powers taken away, looking to switch that from an elected position to an actual appointed position by the governor. So, you know, once again, if you don't like that, call your representatives, let them know. And final thing, still talking about HB 96, I did see about a day ago, Casey Weinstein came out and said that he was going to push forth an amendment onto the budget to reenact or to try and reenact the Fair School Funding Plan into the budget over the HB 96 stuff that we've been talking about. Now, obviously, we've had elected officials speak kindly and in favor of public schools and then fold like origami when any pressure comes their way. So hopefully that's not the case. But, you know, that's another thing that community members can do when they reach out is mention, hey, can we redo the fair school funding and get back to that, please? That's a good option. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Mrs. Smoyer.
All right. It was a busy month. Crazy. Of course, it's always crazy at the end of the year. But I was able to attend the MCTA teacher retirement celebration. That was great. I got to meet a lot of the new some of the newer teachers and some of them that are retiring. It was great talking to them. Miss Pritchard was there as well. So it was a good time. And of course, lots of accolades given to those who had been there for several years as well and not retiring. Went to the facilities meeting. So we already heard from Mr. O'Cool, lots of great things going on. And then Mr. West and I went to Columbus for OSBA's Board Leadership Institute and got to learn a lot of new things, learned about some things that I never, knew about with AI. But I also learned that, especially being on the policy committee, that Medina City Schools is on top of everything in regards to the policy with AI, which was great because some of the schools that were down there were not. And then we were talking, a lot of us were talking about the HB 96 and how it will affect them. So that it is felt all across the state of Ohio. Of course, the policy meeting was the next week, so went through that, and definitely we're on top of things, which I like about that. The Claggett and Root capstone projects that Ms. Pritchard mentioned, I also went to those. It's so intriguing to see how these 8th grade students are thinking out of the box and the projects that they want to do. And it was their passion projects. So it was what they were passionate about. And it was nice to question them. Why are you passionate about this? And find out what their reasonings were for them. We have done some many awards throughout the district, presenting awards, which is great. My favorite was yesterday. We went to Fenn for the, I believe it was the Distinguished Service Award for Mrs. Szynski. And her first year teaching was my oldest daughter's first grade class. And she was telling us that it was the hardest class that she had ever had. And I was very much a part of the PTO and very much involved in all of the classes. And I couldn't tell. So I could not tell that she had a hard time. So, and that was her first year teaching. So now she is on top of things. But it was bittersweet seeing her and tears coming to her eyes when Mr. Sable was reading about how she was great. And I don't know who did write that, but it was very sweet. Also made it to a baseball game where we won the GCC championship, and next door was the softball game going on. And Miss Pritchard is not very happy with me because I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Drew Aller and getting a picture with him. So he was there watching his sister play. So where's who? Amanda? Miss Doty? I think Miss Doty left. Miss Pritchard has a little bone to pick with her, but nonetheless, so it was fun. And Drew is just, he goes to Penn State. He's playing great football, and he is just so humble. And it was so sweet to meet him. Attended the town hall meeting as well. You guys have all talked about that. That was great. And then recently I was able to be a mystery reader in Mrs. Downey's class, 3rd grade class in Fenn. And that was great to read to them. They were very surprised that they had a mystery reader come in. And actually they left me a nice, cute thank you, which was very sweet. And I do want to do a shout out. Miss Pritchard mentioned about after prom. I am still recovering. I have like a hangover from not sleeping, but the custodial staff there, I asked if they could really help out, and because it is a huge event. I think we had about 600 kids there, and they arrive at 11 p.m. and they leave at 2, and then we break down everything right after that. I did not leave until 5 a.m., hence my little hangover of not getting enough sleep. But that custodial staff was on point. Everything was great, and just want to do a major shout out to them. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Smoyer. Mrs. Parkhurst.
Thank you, Mr. West. I just have a few things. I wanted to wish the students that will be attending the National Debate Tournament in June good luck. And I believe that their Coach Nickel, is getting an award. I don't know if she's already gotten it or if she is getting it soon from, I believe, the debate world. So congratulations to her, as well as to the staff at the Bowman House who are recognized by Education Associates for their work that they're doing out there. We really appreciate them. I also just want to congratulate all of our employees and staff who have been recognized for Extra Mile Awards, the Distinguished Service Awards. We have great staff here, and we are doing great things, and it's great to be able to acknowledge those who are contributing so much to our students here. I'm not sure if Mr. West will mention it, but the board is contributing to the Juneteenth celebration the city is having. I believe this is the 3rd year that we have done it, and we make a contribution on behalf of the Medina City School District. Additionally, the school board will be hosting candidate session, date to be determined. This is an election year for school board, and in the past we have held a candidate information session or two. So I know that we will be coordinating something and getting that out to those who would like to know, have information about what it's like to be a board member, what we do up here. So we'll get that information out. Lastly, it is we've talked a lot about House Bill 96. It is the end of the year. I appreciate everyone's efforts in contacting their legislators, sharing with friends and neighbors and community members what is going on. May is a busy time with a lot going on. If you have students in the district, there's concerts and award shows and all athletic events. There's a lot going on. So we appreciate if everyone can just take some time to learn about the issues and share with their friends, family, and neighbors. I do believe there's going to also be a virtual chat, possibly hosted by the ESC, coming up next week. I believe this Friday, I apologize, that Mr. Sable will be participating in, and the Cloverleaf superintendent. So if you missed the town hall, here's another opportunity to learn some more about House Bill 96 and what you can do to help your schools. The schools are an important part of the community. They are what make our community great. And so whatever you can do to educate yourself, you're always welcome to reach out to any of the school board members, the administrators, to learn more as to how you can make change or effectuate change, or at least try. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the school year. It is wrapping up quick. Thank you.
All right, I will keep my comments short as possible. We've had a lot, and everybody's covered some of things. I would be remiss to not thank Mrs. Parkhurst and congratulate her for completing her master's degree, all the while serving on the board and doing all of these duties while still taking all kinds of classes and getting assignments done and that. So congratulations on that. Did get down to the OSB Leadership Conference with Mrs. Smoyer. That was a day and a half. Well worth it. One thing that every time we go to something like this, I do realize that Medina is at the tip of the spear, if you will, on all the new stuff that's going on. We talk about our portrait to practice that we've had around for a while, and some districts are just getting started with it. The portrait to practice and our portrait of a bee, all of that kind of thing. We are at the tip of the spear with that. I attended the Ella Canavan Art Show, the Ralph Waite Art and Music Choir Show, and Showtime. And again, every time I go out to these, the talent level of our students, the creativity and the enthusiasm that they all exhibit is tremendous, and not the least of which the amount of time our staff puts in to put these events on, hours and hours and hours after work's over. Went by after prom just to check it out, and as always, our volunteers that set that up so our students have a safe place to be after prom and have a good time was phenomenal. I want to thank all of our retirees that we had here this evening and wish them, you can tell from all of the testimony that was given tonight that these are all very, very great individuals to our students and our district and our community, and they will be missed, but we wish them a very happy retirement and great times ahead. I want to personally thank the board. We submitted public testimony, the whole board did, to the Education Committee in our opposition to House Bill 96 and in support of the Fair School Funding Plan, because, we were elected to represent our district, and we were advocating for our districts, our students, and our staff and our schools. And we felt that that was very important. So we're going to get that posted up along with Mr. Sable's. And we are keeping a close watch on that. And when the other committees coming up, we may submit some more. But you have 5 very passionate board members up here, all with their own perspectives, and getting some good testimony together was a lot of work from all of us, and I appreciate all of that work from everybody very, very much. Thanks to Mrs. Parkhurst for mentioning the school board candidate date. We will waiting till after we get through graduation, but we will get a date scheduled and get that out through social media and media in general. So anybody running for or thinking about running for the school board in the fall in November can come and see what it's all about. And I think that's all I have. So, next up, treasurer action items G. That is, my apologies. Public comment. Is there anybody? No public comment. Okay. So we will move on to treasurer's action items G. Number 1, the treasurer's financial report. Number 2, the supplemental to permanent appropriations. Number 3, the 2025-2026 temporary appropriations. And number 4, the 5-year forecast. I would entertain a motion. I'm sorry. Yes, please, Mr. Chambers. I'm a little off tonight.
I'll just present a little bit of this. He already read item number 1, the supplemental to permanent appropriations. These are changes to our appropriations to try and close out the year for our schools, or our buildings, I should say. We also have the rec center that Ryan was talking about. What else do we have? Our K-12 connectivity. This is monies that Craig gets in for technology. We have our EPA recycling, which will be going for the track. That's the grant. We put it under the $499 right now. We may have to change that. We'll find out on the 28th where they actually want us to put that grant, but I'm throwing it under the $499 right now. And then we have changes to our title grants that probably will change after we approve this. They'll probably change. So our temporary appropriations, I sent that out. We have the general fund is up by roughly $11 million. This is because the Auditor of State has changed funding. There will no longer be funding in what is known as the 016 Emergency Fund. All emergency levies will now be going into the general fund directly, so that's why you see a change in the general fund. Our special trust and endowment funds, I've increased those basically to what has been appropriated for the current year. You could see last year we didn't appropriate anything at all, barely for those. And the reason was at that time we didn't receive the budget for it. So I'm looking at the positive that we are giving out scholarships through those special trust and endowment funds. I spoke about the emergency levy. That's why you see the 0 there. It's no longer going to be there starting next year. Only those funds that are currently encumbered and currently in that levy will still remain. The Special Enterprise Fund, this is the fund that the Transportation Department uses to work on buses and vehicles for other schools. They've started that up again this year. Last year, you could see there wasn't much in there at all. So they started it up again this year. And they're going to be, I believe, continuing into the next year. Student Activity Fund, I raised that up because they're well above $200,000 at this time, but I'm sure I'm going to get the budgets in from the buildings as soon as we get the temporaries passed here. And then the athletic fundraisers, I moved that up because if you recall at the beginning of this year, we made transfers from all the sub-funds into the main athletic fund, and that caused the increase. We are going to be doing that again here, but we're going to be doing that come the June board meeting, moving those funds up. So they start with the funds already in their main fund itself. Let's see, and we spoke about the item number 4, we spoke about the 5-year forecast. So I believe that's a good roundup for it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take away your thunder. It's been a long night. I would entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's action items G.
I'll make a motion to accept treasurer action items G.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols.
I'll second.
Thank you, Miss Pritchard. Do I have any comments or questions?
I just want to confirm or note that the 5-year forecast is something we're required to do by law. We are the only public entity that is required to do it by law, and we are just approving that it is complete.
You are approving that it's complete and as accurate as we know as of today, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Chambers, if you please.
Mr. Nichols.
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Ms. Parkhurst?
Aye.
Ms. Moyer?
Aye.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up, superintendent action items.
Number one is donations. It is recommended that the Board of Education accept the following donations. I'd like to point out the generous donation from the Halleck family to support the establishment of a Zen Den at Claggett Middle School. These Zen Dens are a very important mental health piece for our students to provide a safe place. Also would like to point out the donations from our student organizations to the Battered Women's Shelter, as well as the support for our organizations for each other within the high school. Service agreements, is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following service agreements. The first one, Renaissance Learning, is for STAR testing, which is progress monitor testing that we do throughout the district, and is a requirement from the state that we have some sort of assessment system in place. We also have several recommendations for special education. These recommendations are in preparation, most of them for next school year, as well as some providing summer services for students that qualify per their individual education plans. We also have a recommendation for Bonefish Systems, which is for our accounts payable system through the Treasurer's Office. Number three is policies, as presented by Dr. Kwolek earlier this evening. Just want to reiterate that this is a first reading of all of these policies, and they are fairly minor updates to language within the policies. Number four is a resolution to increase meal prices. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following increase in lunch prices effective with the beginning of the 25-26 school year. This is a quarter increase across the board for meal prices. The last time the board approved an increase was back in 2022. This increase is necessary because of the inflation we've all seen with food costs. I say this all the time, but very impressed that our food services is self-sufficient here in Medina City Schools. It's the first district that I've worked in as administrator where that's been the case, and it didn't have to be supplemented through the general fund, so they do an outstanding job. Number five is book list. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Medina City Schools 25-26 book list for review. The book list will be presented to the board for final approval and potential adoption at the June regular Board of Education meeting. As presented by Ms. Cassidy, these books have all been vetted through our community curriculum committee. Number six is recommended that the Board of Education approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the Medina City School District and National University for the College Credit Plus program for a 3-year term beginning with the 25-26 school year. It's also recommended that the Board of Education approve the following stipend payments to district teachers who have served as cooperating teachers for students attending universities. I do want to thank these teachers for their willingness to work with not only teaching their students, but also teaching the future educators. This is more important than ever for us to participate in these programs as a district as we face educator shortages. Number 8 is a field trip. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following overnight field trip in compliance with Policy 2340. And as Mrs. Parkhurst mentioned, our debate team in June is going to be going to national competition in Iowa. And number 9, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following personnel recommendations pending completion of all required paperwork to our Director of Human Resources. This recommendation also includes an increase to our summer crew rate, changing the amount to $13.50 per hour effective May 1st, 2025. This is vitally important because we are very reliant on summer help, which generally tends to be students home from college for the summer to help prepare and clean our district for the coming school year. And we need to stay competitive with some of the other summer opportunities, such as the fast food restaurants and coffee shops, in order to attract these individuals. I also want to point out that we have recommendations for contract renewals for administrators as well as teaching staff. We do this annually in May. These recommendations follow a sequence that we have in place for administrators or within the negotiated agreements in terms of the contract years that an individual is eligible for. Teachers that are being recommended for a contract as listed with a T means those individuals have qualified for and are being recommended by administration for a continuing or 10-year contract. Those individuals show high performance in working with their students in the classroom as well as on the state teacher evaluation system. Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to accept superintendent action items number 1 through number 9.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Smoyer.
I'll
Do I hear a
second.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Nichols. Are there any questions or comments? Anyone?
I have a
Yes.
question about the summer help rate. That's not included in the OPSI contract?
That is not.
Okay, and can our teachers apply for it?
We do have teachers or other support staff that have filled those positions in the past, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Parkhurst?
I just wanted to thank the community members for always supporting our schools with their generous donations, as well as the donations that our students make as well. That's wonderful they do that. And just also thank you to Ms. Sellers for the great work that she and her food service staff do for us. Thank you.
Any others? Hearing none, Mr. Chambers, when you're ready.
Ms. Smoyer?
Aye.
Mr. Nichols?
Aye.
Ms. Parkhurst?
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Sable?
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the OPSI Local 305 negotiated salary schedule for the 25-26 school year effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 per Article 37 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement. I do want to point out that this was a year 3 salary only opener within the contract. The reason why we have this year 3 opener is because we weren't able, due to being in fiscal precaution, as Mr. Chambers mentioned earlier this evening, to certify an increase for that 3rd year of the contract.
I would entertain a motion for the OPSI salary schedule 2025-2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the OPSI contract.
You, Mrs. Pritchard.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Parkhurst. Any questions or comments from anybody? All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chambers. When you're ready.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Ms. Parkhurst?
Aye.
Mr. Nichols?
Aye.
Ms. Smoyer?
Aye.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next up is board action item J, treasurer's contract. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the treasurer's contract for the 5-year term with provisions as listed in the attached public document. I would entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to approve the Mr. Chambers' 5-year contract.
Thank you, Ms. Pritchard.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Any questions or comments from anybody? I just want to thank Mr. Chambers. We look forward to having him around for another 5 years, and thank him for his patience with working through his new contract, and that's all I have to say. So when you're ready.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Mr. Nichols?
Aye.
Ms. Parkhurst?
Aye.
Ms. Moyer?
Aye.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Thank you.
And finally, we have an executive, right? Okay. Next up is item number L, executive session. This is to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, or compensation of a public employee or an official, preparation for or conducting or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. I would entertain a motion to move into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Parkhurst.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Mr. Chambers?
Ms. Parkhurst? Mr. Nichols?
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Ms. Moyer?
Aye.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Thank you.
There will be no action following leaving executive session.